Big win, Don Wilson here for Top MMA News. Here with Nick, the Ninja Love Denis. And I got to say, Nick, you've been sort of a ninja lately. We haven't seen you. We haven't heard from you. And you come out with a devastating KO. You know, before we get into the fight, what's been going on with the Ninja Love the last year?
Last year? Well, I guess last people probably heard from me was when I was training to fight Ian Loveland for the rec belt. And then I got injured. Multiple injuries 1 week from before the fight. After that, I took time just to relax. Drove across Canada, and I just lived a normal person life of eating and drinking. And then after a couple of months of that, I got back into training. And I trained here until in Ottawa until I think January. And early February, I moved to Montreal. And I was training at Tri-Star and Grant Brothers Boxing and doing conditioning with Jonathan Chainberg for a while there. And things were great there. I was there for about 7 months, I guess. And then I was really missing Ottawa. I was really missing home, the training part, and just general life, you know, my friends, family. So I moved back, and I've been training here, and finally had a fight. You know, I hadn't fought in I think like a year and a half, but except for the couple months that I took off because I had injuries. Been training really hard, and I've had, like when I was in Montreal training at Tri-Star, I had a couple fight offers and then opponent backing out. So it's not like I was just sidelined doing nothing. I was training hard with killers, you know. And so there was people asked me, you can have ring rust? And not at all. I mean, you're training hard. As hard as you train with those kind of guys, it's the same thing as a fight, pretty much.
Now, I got to say, you know, we did our detective work, and a lot of the stories coming out of, you know, as a hobby was how good you were performing against some of the top-level guys there. So I wasn't worried about ring rust in this situation. I got to say, it's been quite a while. Last time we talked, I had long hair. You weren't rocking the, you know, lumberjack kind of look going on you got going on right now. You know, and the very first time we fought, you were a little fatter. I've always been fat. You know, it's just been a long time, and I got to say, it really all came down to this fight up against Nick Mamlis. First time we talked, I asked you, do you want to fight Adrian Woolley? I'm friends with Adrian Woolley. I really don't see a reason for that fight. This guy beat Adrian Woolley, and you came out, literally put this guy through the mats. You know, let's talk about the fight. First 2 rounds, were you frustrated at all that he kept getting that takedown on you?
I was really surprised at the first takedown because, you know, I was able to find 8 of his fights online. And in all 8 of them, he didn't go for a takedown. You know, I knew he had good wrestling, but he tends to like strike. Yeah. You know, he loves striking. He's got a wild striking style, and he hits really hard from what I could see from the fights. So I thought he was gonna like at least stand up with me for, you know, a round or 2, and then take me down if he is having trouble. But no, he took me down right away pretty much. I think I threw like a 1-2 and he took me down right away.
What was going through your head when he picked you up and carried it over to his car? That's got to be an odd feeling. What do you do?
Actually, I was still thinking, while he was carrying me, I was still thinking of kicking my hips out and sprawling because I could feel like I was making headway, pushing out. So I was still thinking of getting out, but I was actually thinking also like, yeah, well, he's taking me down already. What's up with that? But then once he got me down, I think I worked my way back up, and then we were clinching up against the cage and whatnot. And I landed a couple of shots. I remember, and I don't know if that's just the way he reacted, but I remember landing like really not hard punches and seeing his reaction. And I was like, oh, did I hurt him with that? Like I was really surprised. I don't know if I hurt him with it or not. But yeah, then we clinched up again. He took me down. And then on my way up, I think on the last time, he ended up getting my back. Yeah. And he had me belly down, and he had really good back control. He was really good with his hooks, and all I was worried about was not getting completely flattened out and just being a sitting duck. And I wasn't worried about his ground and pound or his rear naked attempts. And but he had really good back control. And
he had you pretty flattened out there at the start. Like you defended that well.
Yeah, I got back. I just stayed calm. I just listened to my cornermates, Nick. And he just talked to me, and I just stayed calm and relaxed. And but at a certain point of me trying to get him off my back, I was like, oh, this isn't going to happen. So I'm just going to relax and wait till the end of the round and not waste any energy. And that's pretty much what I did.
Now, now let's get to the second round. Whatever happened there. were you frustrated when you got up and slammed him? Because it literally looked like to me that you just went, that's it, I've had enough, I'm putting you through the ring. I have never seen a slam from that position before.
Yeah, you know what? That's a.
It was half a choke slam.
It's kind of right. It's kind of
half a choke slam.
I do that a lot in training, except of course I don't do it hard. I'll lift the guys up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't want to train with you.
I'll hip in.
I don't want to go anywhere near.
And I'll let the guys down gently. And I remember when I was getting up, I had my double underhooks but kind of on the side to his back. And I remember thinking, what am I gonna do? Like I was thinking, should I drop levels and take him down, or should I let go and strike? And then I was like, oh no, your takedown, your slam. And I was like, so I did it, and then I obviously did it as hard as I could. And when he landed, he felt super limp. And I looked at him, and he was out, but the referee wasn't there to stop it. And I remember my first thought was, I got to keep hitting him before he wakes up. And so I did it. And I remember I was hitting, and I was thinking, he's out. And I wanted to stop, but the referee wasn't there to stop. And I don't like it when guys keep hitting more than they have to. But eventually the ref came and stopped it. And
well, we were lucky it wasn't Philippe Chartier. You'd still be hitting him in the head right now. Now, I got to say, this puts you right back up at our rankings. We had taken you off. I'm sure you've been up there and looking a little bit. We know you do that. But I got to say, this probably puts you right back up there. What are the plans? It's been a year and a half since we've seen you. What are the plans for the future now?
See the world, do this and that. No, I don't know. I mean, just I'll talk to my manager this week, and we'll go over our options. And ultimately, my goal is to fight in the UFC.
So, if we wanted to figure out what was going on to you next, we should ask your manager.
Yes, sir.
Good day, sir. Funny enough, someone that many top MMA fans will recognize and has heard much of, Robin Black. What is next for Nick Denny?
Man, I don't know. Like, it's such a strange thing to have your close friend and somebody that you manage and have to call his fight, because my favorite thing to do is call fights, and I have to stay impartial the whole time. So I probably undersell this guy during it.
You were watching him being flattened out in a rear naked choke right about 3 feet in front of you. How did that go for you?
You know what? When you're calling it at the time, you're his friend, and you're very close to the guy. I mean, look at him. Look how sexy this kid is. But your job is to call the fight. And if I'm going to tilt one way or the other, I'm going to tilt towards the opponent when I call it. I'm sorry, Nick. That's just probably... it feels bad. But, so I'm calling it as I'm seeing it. And Nick Denis is losing that round. And Nick Denis is losing the first half of the second round. But, as a friend and a fan of him and somebody that works with him, you're trying not to let that enter your mind. You're trying to describe the fight, and that's what I was trying to do. But then all of a sudden, the guy slams something, puts down one of the biggest highlights ever in the Score Fighting series, and you see your friend win, and you get to celebrate because you're calling the fight, and you get to honestly celebrate the fight. So it's cool, but it is really weird. It's really weird, and it's really stressful because I want to take care of him, and I want, it's my buddy, and I want to make sure he does well. But my job is also to call that impartially, and that's a weird gig.
That was a perfect manager right there. You notice he just completely sidestepped the question.
What was the question again? What's next for him?
What's next for Nick?
Honestly, what would you do if you were Nick or his manager or his friend? I mean, you want to get him to the UFC. He's a top-level talent. He's 9 knockouts and 10 wins. His 10th win is a signature knockout, which you want it to be. What should he do? He should probably fight one of the other top 3 or 4 bantamweights in the country and move up to the UFC, whether that's Josh Hill, who's a great fighter, is well-trained by a great coach, or whether that's John Fraser, also a great fighter, or whether you bring in some big name from the UFC. This guy should fight another big fight, win it, knock the guy out again, and then try to go to the UFC.
Well, you hit the head in the, you hit the nail on the head right there. I wish I could talk right here. I'm sitting with a master interviewer and I can't speak my words. John Fraser, the Haggis Basher. This was a title eliminator. You eliminated him viciously, and now we have a title matchup: John Fraser, Nick Denny. That's supposed to be the next, the bantamweight title fight for Rec. Is that something you guys are interested in?
Yeah, whatever gets me to the UFC.
Yeah, I mean, Nick's one of the most respectful guys going. He's not going to call anybody out, and he's not going to put anybody down. There's great fighters in the country. He'll fight any of them. I'll be thrilled to call it. And like I said, when I call it, I'll probably call the other guy. I'll lean a little too far towards him. But in the end, his goal is to be in the UFC. He's a young guy. That's his dream, and that's what I'm supposed to try to help him do. And if that means you fight the best bantamweights in the country or with somebody from outside the country, that's what you got to do.
Let me put you in a rough spot. Alex Ricci from the Score knockout, very first Score show, or Nick Denis Slam, best knockout of the year?
Yeah, it's crazy. Both those guys are so good, but that's got to be. Yeah, honestly, Alex Ricci is another one of these little stars that's definitely going to go as far as he wants to go. But you've never seen a knockout like that on the Score Fighting Series. I mean, this guy comes from behind, stays super calm. When he gets his opportunity, he knocks him out with like 17 exclamation points. That'll be the highlight of the Score Fighting Series for years.
I got to say, not only have I never seen it on the Score, I really have never seen that is technically half a choke slam.
Well, there were 2 or 3 executed by a kid named Rory McDonald against a kid named.
But that was a suplex.
Yeah, this was too. I don't know what you might have been in a different position, but when he came up onto the back.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was hot. But you come up into the back, and he went belly to back, and he lifted him up and drove him down. It actually, from your angle, it might be different. When you see it on TV, it was a belly to back driving him into the mat.
Well, fans, that's one's up to you. Send me an email, dwilson, topmnews.com. Can't talk at all tonight. Let me know, was that a suplex or was that a choke slam? Because I'm going for the choke slam on this. Now, I got one big question for Nick, and it's not it has.
I'm bailing.
You hit the beers. Walking Dead. We know you're the zombie guy.
Yeah.
I'm falling in love with that show. What about you?
I have only seen the first episode of the second season.
You saw the first season, did you not?
Oh, I saw the first season.
Okay.
Yeah. I meant of the second season. I've only seen the first episode. It was a bit slow, but basically the ending of the second season was a bit slow.
Yeah.
But I like it. It's different. It's not a high-paced show, and it's more, I guess, realistic, like more drama. These group of survivors just trying to survive. It's awesome. Yeah, I love it.
Any other, great zombie movies for the Zombie Files that you've caught in the last couple of years since the last time we were in touch with you?
Oh man, you're putting me on the spot.
Did last time.
Jeez. Jen, what have we seen? Anything lately?
Throw it in. Nothing.
No, I can't. I'm sure I've seen stuff, but I just can't remember.
I know we won't even get into games because we know you're not the avid gamer. All right. Well, I got to say, fans, my jaw was on the floor for a good 45 minutes tonight due to this man and what I'm still going to call a choke slam. Sorry, Robin Black. Fans, if you haven't seen it, you need to see this highlight. It is going to be on our top KOs of the year for Top MMA News. Once again, fans, big win, Don Wilson. Nick, the Ninja of Love, Denny. I cannot wait to see more from you. Top MMA News.